until 10 a.m. on Beaver County Radio. God bless you.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls. Welcome to the Best of Beaver County, presented by St. Barnabas, a weekly segment dedicated to putting the focus on the amazing things and the amazing people behind them in Beaver County. The Best of Beaver County is sponsored by and content is provided by St. Barnabas. The show airs every Thursday from 11 to 11:30 on WBVP, WMBA, 99.3 FM, and Facebook Live. Now, with no further ado, let's welcome host Mike Romai to introduce today's program.
Good morning and welcome to the Best of Beaver County radio show. I'm Mike Romai, and what we do on the Best of Beaver County is we invite people who have been successful, people in Beaver County, families in Beaver County, interesting people who have interesting stories to tell and that we can learn from. And certainly that's the case with our guest this morning. His name is Kevin Bolland, and family business is Bolland Machine, and it continues to thrive today right here in Beaver County, and it reaches all over the United States in terms of what they do at Bolland Machine. They've been a fixture in Chippewa for a few years now, but they are known all over the country and began very humble means out on Sunflower Road. Kevin Bolland, welcome to the program.
Oh, thanks, Mike. I appreciate the opportunity. Great to be here.
Thanks. First time us meeting together, but I'm familiar with the name Bolland Machine, although I know we were talking before we went on the air, and I'm listening to you talk about different motor parts and all that goes into it, and I'm thinking, he's speaking a foreign language here. I don't even understand what he's talking about. But this is something that you grew up in. Tell us a little bit about the family history.
Well, you know, my father, Don Bolland, he's well recognized in the county here and is involved in a lot of support groups and, you know, trying to make life better for people. And, you know, he's done that for his family as well. My brother and Keith and I are currently running the shop, and Dad's actually on vacation today. But anyhow,
a well-deserved vacation.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
Well, you know, he needs it. But anyhow, you know, my father started his company actually in the basement of my great-grandmother's house down by the pig farm. And anyhow, grew from there, went down to 13th Street in New Brighton. From there, ran that for a couple years, went up into 618 18th Avenue in New Brighton. So we've moved around a little bit. In 1995, or 92, somewhere in that era, we bought the old Rosenberg building out in Chippewa here. And we thought that was going to be our place where we could have some junk and do some things and a lot of more floor space. Around 95, we consolidated 4 of our companies. We had developed some products and services throughout, you know, from turbochargers was done in the old Beaver County News Tribune building in Beaver Falls. Mm-hmm. We did, we created a new company, bought out a company in Wheeling, West Virginia called Motor Equipment. And then we bought what formerly was Gulf Oil's R&D facility up in Harmerville. We ended up buying the machine shop, which is about 22,000 square foot of like prototype machining, general machining, fabrication, that kind of stuff. So in around 95, we started consolidating because we had to get more lean and mean, and it was hard to really get people to run these remote operations in the technical support aspects of things. So we brought it all back to Chippewa, thinking like, okay, we'll start from here. And you know, lo and behold, you know, we had over probably 50 people working for us at one time. Now we're down to 8, but we're still growing. And, you know, these days we're having problems trying to find help and people, the labor skill.
Seems like, yeah, that's a big problem around anymore.
Yes.
Tell us about your father. And you say he started it out of the basement of your great-grandmother's, at your great-grandmother's, and then moved into the garage, things like that. Who is Don Bolland, still alive? But you told me earlier that he quit school in 10th grade.
Yeah, well, he was one of those kind of hot rodders of the day. He liked engines and machining and things like that. He worked, as I recall, Damascus Foundry. He worked there. He worked at Crutz Garage out there on Route 68. Between that and his own shop, trying to get it lifted off the ground, but he had a lot of people where he could actually gain some knowledge. And, whenever he was not of age to drive, he bought his own car and had guys that had license that could actually drive him around in his own car. And, my father has been, nose of the grindstone about, trying to build better mousetraps, faster race cars, come out with newer ideas and creating, this venue where we're at today that we still continue to do. Try to stay one jump ahead of everybody, thinking, like we're 2 years ahead of everybody else of what we're doing. And so, and these are the kinds of things you have to have that mindset to be able to, if you're going to want to win, you better be thinking outthinking your competition. So it's that mindset. So everything that he's done over his years is just that. I mean, like he's a family. He has 6 children. My brother and I, like I say, are still here. I have a sister in Colorado, a sister in New Hampshire. My cyclist that lives in Canton, Connecticut. I have a brother in New Hampshire, and I have a sister in Vermont, and so we're all scattered throughout, and everybody had their own ways of doing things, and we still communicate and get together with all the family functions. But he's very involved in the community, trying to support. Was part of Friends of Scouting in his lifetime. The Beaver County Rehabilitation Center he's on the board of that. There's just a lot of things he tries to get involved with because trying to get people direction is one of his insights. He has a good vision for that.
Yeah, and obviously a vision at a very young age about this type of business, something that a lot of people wouldn't understand.
Yeah, well, like there's, I learn every day. When you say you've learned enough, it's, we're still learning. I can tell you, he just went through a stroke in last year around October, come back from that, and then he ran into about 13 weeks of shingles. So that set him back about 10 months. But I can tell you, he's coming back stronger. He's there every day, gets there about 9 o'clock and, puts a full day and then goes home and does more stuff. And it's like his mind's always thinking, we're always trying to, we got the property we're working on that we're moving from. To get into our new building, and so there's a lot of development things and real estate things that we're trying to juggle at the same time.
Kevin Bolland is our guest from Bolland Machine. What do you think that you learned, your brothers and sisters learned from your father, your mother, that made you so successful? Because it seems as though you all grew to be very successful. You and your brother still in the business, but as the family branched out all over the country, they have their successes of their own.
Right. Well, I think, I have to attribute a lot of this to being around good people. My mom and dad, for one, were very, they were always concerned about making sure we're disciplined well, right? And make sure that you're constantly learning. And, I remember my dad and my sister, or my mother and my sister and myself, my dad would do crankshaft and build kits for Federal Mogul, which is a large, one of the leading manufacturers of engine bearings. And he would actually grind the cranks and put the bearings on the cranks and build an engine crank kit. And my mom would be driving like, I don't know what the year was, a 53 panel truck, okay, with the door it opened up like an old ambulance, right? Right. And we would load that full crankshaft, drive them to Pittsburgh, and then we'd bring the old cranks back and we'd grind them and put new bearings on them, and that was just an evolving thing. So we were involved in this whole process throughout the whole years, and so my dad was like, I always liked learning from my dad, like I'd go there when he's setting up his new shop, and I remember building, go-karts outside the back office, and then later on in life, we built a soapbox derby in 1971, and we won Beaver Falls soapbox derby, and went on to Akron, Ohio, and did our thing. So there's.
Were you driving that soapbox derby?
Yeah, I was 11 years old, 72 pounds, and
going down that hill by Gross Furniture.
Yeah. I had to go up to Enlow Shoes, right? And buy a set of moccasins, because between the time I took my practice run and race day, I had grown and I couldn't even get in the car. The thickness of the sole was too thick, so I had to go get something thin. But pretty interesting. But all my sisters, my brothers, my brother Keith, we all learned together. I've had great support, through just all the people that worked at our shop, right? Like I really got under the wing of the journeymans, and I paid attention. I listened, and if I'm not school taught, right? I'm hands-on taught. So, but I can tell you, I can go out and have a vision to erect something or build something, redesign something, look at the specs, and come up with this solution that's going to give a customer a lifelong solution for something's going to give them better performance or things like that. So, I mean, we get that from racing, and and listen, you can't win if you can't finish. And so your race day starts in your garage. It starts at the taillights on the trailer to the headlights on the truck. So if you can't get the truck there, you're not going to win either. Yeah. So it's all starts about maintenance.
And I'm thinking, Kevin, when I was a kid, if my dad said, "Hey, come on out to the garage, we're going to build a crankshaft," I'd say, "Yeah, okay, Dad, you go ahead and do it. I'm going down to the field to play ball."
Yeah. Well, like I say, it's been a great life, and I think one of the biggest things that we all suffered today, it seems like, ever since about 2008 when we had hard times,
housing industry,
the housing industry, and Dad experienced some issues with banking at that time. Made a new challenge for us that we had to battle. He got through that and fine, and it just seems like every day as you try to keep climbing the ladder to success, you always got another stumbling block to try to get there, and you just can't ever give up. You got to keep pressing forward, and if somebody says you can't get there, we're going to show you how you get there. And
you were talking about your education before, or you said you weren't book taught, much in the same vein as your father. Working on hands-on experience, working with your hands, and being able to see things that most common ordinary people wouldn't be able to see. You're dealing with a piece of metal, and you know how to develop that into something that's very important and useful to people. It seems as though we went through that in this area a few years ago when they were building a cracker plant, and they were looking for welders and different technicians, and found out that a lot of people in our area, the jobs were there, but they weren't qualified to do it. They didn't have the educations to do it. And you're a big proponent of being able, maybe not everyone is suited for a 4-year school or a 6-year school, but they can go to some of these technical schools or come to the Bolland Machine Garage and learn the craft themselves.
Well, it's, listen, people pay a lot of money to get an education. I'm not against a good, solid education, because there's all kinds of fields from chemistry to, if you're cut out for that, and computers, press forward and go for your goal. But there's a lot of people that miss the boat. And I can tell you, whenever I was going 10th, 11th, 12th grade, they had DECA. They had, remember the old DECA days, right?
DECA. Oh,
and you got to be able to leave and
go
to work.
I got a job at Kentucky Fried Chicken in Beaver Falls.
But you was able to take and go do your skill set or learn and get that. I got a CDL license I got in high school when they were giving them away. You know what I mean? But I still had to qualify later in life to take the test to make sure I can maintain and keep that. But I was thinking about what my career was then, that my dad does engines. I might have to drive a truck someday. I might need that. You know what I mean? So, but it's like going through this whole life and thinking about when I got out of school, I was good at gym, art, the wood shop. I spent a lot of time in study halls, getting the restroom pass, right? And so I was good in math. Yeah. Okay. But why would I want to care about what George Washington did? Yeah. When I got a shop that I can go and work. You know what I mean? But now I can appreciate it better, because now I see all the things that's going on in this society, that it's history. People have to have that knowledge to understand where we came from, what all we went through.
Yeah.
But I can say, when I'm looking at what I learned and how I got where I'm at, it's just I had known a long time ago when I did Soapbox Derby, and then my art took me to making signs for my dad for promotional marketing. I did those at the parts counter. I did things that were, getting taught how to do runs of heads, like maybe doing 30 Cummins heads at one time. It's a process, and try to get that down so that I could say, okay, I got that. Now, all the other heads are the same, so I should be able to do the next type. Just give me the specs. And so I just keep going along with all that.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing the thought process involved with it. Kevin Bolland is our guest, and we'll continue to talk about the family and the success of the family with Bolland Machine. And as we go into the break, Kevin, I just want to mention happy anniversary to you and your wife.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
38 years.
38 years. How did you know that? Research, huh?
One of your sons called.
Oh, he did? Okay. Yeah,
earlier and said, hey, make sure you say happy anniversary to my dad.
Well, I'm going to take my wife out to Wooden Angel tonight. So.
Oh, good. Very special place.
Yeah, very nice.
So congratulations, 38 years. That's wonderful. Kevin Bolland is our guest. It's the best of Beaver County on the St. Barnabas Radio Network.
Oh my goodness, Amy, it's so good to see you.
Jennifer, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Is your mom doing any better?
Thank you for asking. I don't know if I can answer without being emotional. I'm sorry. I'm just tired and worried. I can't always be there for her, and it's so stressful.
I really understand. That's how I was with my dad. I'd recommend calling St. Barnabas. We did. We started with just having them come in for home care. He was so excited to see them show up. And when he needed more, we were able to move him in at Beaver Meadows, where he still has his own home-like space and excellent care.
Thanks for telling me that. I don't even know how to start, but I have to do something.
Oh, you can just give St. Barnabas a call. They have directors that can explain how it all works. Trust me, you'll feel so much better, and so will your mom.
I'm so glad I ran into you.
Visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-443-0700 for care apart from the ordinary.
Best of Beaver County on the St. Barnabas Radio Network. Our guest this morning is Kevin Bolland from Bolland Machine, a successful family business that gives back to the community and has done remarkable things all over the country. And Kevin, there's a lot to talk about that we're not even going to have time for today, but the success of the family business directly related to your father's drive and perfection of what he was doing and learning his craft?
Mm-hmm. Well, like I say, it's just crazy to think that we're still out here pushing the business and take it to new levels. Mm-hmm. Most of the business we get is, I just got a call yesterday from Maine. I've shipped stuff to Ghana, West Africa. We've sent stuff all over the world, not just the United States, but there's a lot of things that, my father taught,
Mm-hmm.
If you got an idea and you can outthink something, you can definitely market what you got and people are going to find you. We don't do a lot of advertising. There's people in the local county know us from our old drag racing deals, but I can say most of the people now think that all we want to do is heavy duty. Well,
yeah.
Those big engines we're doing are for like these gas companies. And, all that education and sales and marketing and things that my father showed me, that's what we try to go after because they need our support. We're well recognized in the whole country. Mm-hmm. And even the OEMs know us. We support a lot of their works with Penn DDAs and
Let's
Cumminses.
Talk a little bit about that, because the success of your business, and you said earlier about staying a step ahead of the competition. The world has evolved so much since the early 1960s in drag racing and winning races and things like that. We now have more regulations involved with everything that we mm-hmm. do today, getting away from gas engines, oil pressure engines, and things like that into, I guess, more sophisticated type things. Even in the oil fields, when you're talking about gas compression and those sort of things, your family is already on the cutting edge in terms of seeing this technology, seeing these changes, and moving forward with it. That's how you stay alive in the business.
Well, it starts out with just machining, right? And then you start looking at all the co-related items that help enhance our quality machine work that we do, or the fabricated component that we make. I mean, anything that we do is primarily driven around supporting an engine, period. Blocks, cranks, rods, heads, turbos. And then from there, when we're supporting, helping, let's say, a gas company, and they may have a crew of mechanics build an engine, but they might need some training. So we give them our knowledge to take and show them how to get from, maybe their top end rebuilds are currently 20,000 to 25,000 hour rebuilds, right? Well, we're taking them by using what we're doing and our experience, what we learn in racing, how we can make stronger parts last longer with better maintenance, things like that. We show them how we can get to 35, 40,000 hour top end overhauls. So what we're doing is saving money, trying to optimize the performance, trying to worry about what's going out the exhaust stack so we can reduce emissions. And we've developed a kit to actually do closed crankcase ventilation systems. So all the blow-by gases that actually went down over the breather tube under the axle of the truck, we're now coalescing all that oils and all that fumes that go to atmosphere. We're re-ingesting that back into the air intake system, so separating the oil, and it goes back to the oil pan, and the combustion jet gases that got past the rings that went in to make that blow-by pressure, we're actually pushing it right out into the engine that goes into the catalyst that helps scrub the exhaust so that when it goes to the atmosphere, their NOx of emissions are so low. I mean, they're so stringent in the natural gas market. I know that we're trying to go wind. I know we're trying to do solar panel. I'm not against an electric car or things like that, but there's a need for both. And it's not going to go away soon. The gas industry is still here. I feel that it's going to be here for a long time, way before your and my time, my grandchildren's time, because engines are still going to be a part of our future. And just a matter of just getting everybody on board and understand where the needs are.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if you noticed it or not, but my head did explode there just a few seconds ago because everything you're talking about, I'm trying to keep up with, to be honest with you.
Well, if you don't understand, it'd be like a doctor talking about something that none of us understand, right? Just talking in layman's terms. But,
but how do you do that? A small facility in Chippewa Township, and you're dealing with things globally and the technology that's changing, and you're right there with it.
Well, I mean, it's current affairs, right? You have to pay attention to what's happening. What are they talking about? And I can say, sometimes the news can be a little bit like you just said, like they're talking over your head, and but when you're in it, you know that, like, I can tell you, engines aren't going away for a while. Natural gas is still going to be here. I'm going to still have my stove at home. It's just things like that. I might still heat with wood. It's just. There's things that are just going to happen, and you got to make up your own mind what you believe that's out there, because there's a lot of mixed, things, and we're constantly working on this emission issue. Try to keep green, try to work with whatever we can do.
You have to survive, so you have to know how to do that.
Right.
And just down the road on 51, across from your present location and right close to your new location, there's a car wash, and it has EV stations there as well. So you see the electronic vehicles and the technology that's coming forward.
Yeah, well, I have electronic fork truck. It's great. I don't have to breathe that fumes in my garage bay that's such a confined space, right? Everything has its purpose, but I can tell you, like, I just bought a new so-called electric engine. It's called a battery for that fork truck. It cost me $4,000 to buy that battery, right? Yeah. And now I had to worry about where I'm going to dispose of it. Those are the things you got to be thinking about, because while I'm worrying about what's going in the atmosphere, people got to worry about where these batteries are going. I mean, and are they? I mean, when you think of what batteries are made of, and it's an imported product. I mean, where do you bury it? It's not like lead in the old days where you could remelt it down and make a new battery, right? Lithium. It's just we worry about those kinds of things. What's going to be the next thing that's going to harm our world? You know what I mean? So we've got to all be paying attention to making a better place for our grandchildren and our kids to come. And I know we sort of focus on that as well. And hey, last night I was working building cranes because I don't have time during the day, but I gotta get my move done, and we're
Yeah.
trying to move out of our position, like you said, across the street,
Across the highway, yeah.
and we're developing that into some retail market space for Chippewa, and they're going to be proud of us because we're nearing closing of what's
Yeah.
going to be there in the future.
Always the future.
Yeah.
And you talked about grandchildren. It skipped a generation. You were telling me perhaps your sons weren't as interested. They had other thoughts about careers and moving forward. But you have some grandchildren who I saw a glint in your eye that you thought, hey, they're kind of interested in this sort of thing.
Well, like it's not that my sons weren't interested. I mean, my one son, Zach, went to, he was a PGA golf school, right?
Yeah.
And then went on the road, went to Nantucket, went back to Florida to, 3 or 4 stints. And, he got tired of that. And so now he's working for UPS. They still help me on my race car. My other son, Derek, is very involved in my technology for whatever we got to do in marketing. Derek, he's my IT guy.
This is the guy who, from Chippewa, right?
Yeah.
From his home in Chippewa, he controls the lights in Times Square in New York City.
The billboard in Times
Yeah.
Square, New York City, and also in Las Vegas.
That's incredible.
So he does it right here from New Brighton. So
New Brighton, okay.
He was in a job position, did an intern for American Eagle at the time.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a position open, so he ended up going to Boston, to take and work for EMC, and American Eagle ended up telling him, he said, one of these days I'm going to come and find you, because he knew what a 9/16 wrench was from working on the race car.
Sure, okay.
So he had hands-on ability, not only that, but the brains to take and do what he does.
Yeah. You must be very proud.
Yeah, so now I'm trying to groom my kids. During the move, right? We're moving Vidmar cabinets, and they got bolts, and they're 4 and 7 years old. Rolling through the drawers and sorting out these little, and you start them out young, and you get their interest, and you keep them going along. You get them into racing, get them into something that keeps their mind spinning. You know what I mean? Instead of thinking about all the derogatory things, right?
Yeah, right.
We're thinking about positive things. How can we go win? I'm going to teach you how to get through the driving line. And
Tell us about your success as a driver.
oh well,
Besides the soapbox derby.
well, I mean, soapbox derby is where it started, and then I went into motocross. I had in 1979 we raced 125 and 250 pro class for 1 year. Broke my arm on the off season. Took me about 3 surgeries and about 2 years to get healed back up. In '83, I got into racing big block dirt modifieds. Now that was my first race venue of any type of a car with a roll cage, and so we ended up in 1983. We won 7 feature wins, a track championship. We won Rookie of the Year. The same year that Dave Blaney, actually, who now was a former NASCAR guy, right?
Okay.
His dad Lou, and they owned Sharon Speedway up in Hartford, Ohio, right? So all these, are people we competed against, and so since '83 till about 5 years ago, we were racing, 2-3 nights a week in dirt circle track like Lernerville, Sharon. We've run Charlotte, North Carolina. We run Syracuse, New York, and we've been all over the Eastern Seaboard with our venue of racing, big block dirt modifieds. That's just to let you know, that's a 850 horsepower big block Chevrolet, custom built by D&D Rebuilding Bolland machine here, and so we keep all that closest, and that's what's really nice, because we can do all this work in house. We don't have to rely on some other shop to take and go buy technology. We build our own technology, and then they wonder what we're doing.
Yeah, very good. Kevin Bolland, Bolland Machine. And thank you for sharing the story with us this morning. It's an incredible success story for family, for all people in Beaver County, to know that this is happening and has been happening right here in our community, and giving back to the community and sharing your knowledge with others. We certainly appreciate you coming on today.
Well, I appreciate that, Mike, and Eddie and Frank and all the people at St. Barnabas for putting this out for, making people aware of what's happening in Beaver County. But I have to say, if there's somebody out there, a high school graduate that has no direction, wants to have a labor skill set, come and see me because we're looking for a few good men.
All right.
So
very good.
Yep.
Bolland Machine. Thank you, Kevin.
thank you.
And this has been the Best of Beaver County radio show on the St. Barnabas Radio Network. I'm Mike Romai. Stay safe. Be well.
Let's face it, work is a large part of your life. Why not choose a job that allows the opportunity of a fulfilling career working with people who appreciate you? St. Barnabas Health System is looking for extraordinary, service-minded people to join our team. Earn and learn with career opportunities on our clinical, housekeeping, and food service teams. For more information and to apply, visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-444-JOBS. Jobs that are apart from the ordinary. Find them at St. Barnabas Health System.
Thank you for listening to the Best of Beaver County. St. Barnabas is pleased to have provided content and sponsorship for the program. Tune in this Sunday at 11:30 for an encore presentation of today's program on Beaver County Radio. And next Thursday at 11 for another edition of the Best of Beaver County on WBVP, WMBA, and 99.3 FM. Beaver County Radio's news source, 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Good morning. On this Thursday, October 19th, 2023, the Beaver County weather forecast is calling for cloudy skies today with a high of 68 degrees. We'll go over the full details of your Beaver County weather forecast following this look at news. On Wednesday, the Environmental Protection Agency ordered